Hello, Melvin.
Hello, Vic. How you doing?
Doing okay.
Okay.
How's things out in California?
Keeping on, keeping on.
Okay. All right.
Nice warm day.
Not here.
Okay.
We've got some rain and probably 40 degrees or so.
You know, I always thought the most uncomfortable thing was a cold winter rain.
Sure is. You don't have that too often out there, do you?
Not too much rain and not too much cold.
Oh, Gordon.
we get a frost
Hello,
once in a
Vic.
while.
Hi, Melvin.
Hi.
Vic, I had to leave there for a second. I didn't have my volume turned up on the laptop.
Gotcha. What's happening? Is that a brass bed behind you there?
It is.
Okay. Is it an old brass bed or a new?
It's very old. We bought it in Iowa, and I had the rails extended so I could put a queen mattress on it.
Oh, okay.
Hello, Bob.
How many pairs do you have, Gordon? Every time I see you have on a different pair.
I'm not hearing Bob very well. Can you hear
You're
him?
not. You're not coming in very good for some reason.
Yeah, we're not hearing you too well, Bob.
You're not hearing me too well.
Yes.
I'm not hearing Gordon too well.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're coming in fine.
Okay.
Hi, Mel, Bob.
Hi. I can hear Bob okay. He was a little soft in the beginning, but I can hear him okay now. I was looking at that wall behind you, Bob, and obviously Indiana doesn't have many earthquakes. With all those dishes.
I hope not anyway. You know that
Yeah.
my sister-in-law, that Esther Roberts, heard that there were going to be an earthquake close to us, and she had a lot of dishes, and she had to unpack them all.
Oh, really? Wow.
And I don't think she ever did unpack them.
Did the earthquake ever happen?
Oh, yeah. Well, Melvin, I hope it's nice out there. That our high today was about 43 degrees and said we may have some snow spitting down before long.
Okay. Well, it is nice. It's 85 degrees, and I think it's finally going to begin to get a little more seasonally cooler, but not much in the near future.
We had about
could use a
quarter
little
inch
of your rain, of
snow here
course.
in Lebanon this morning.
What was the temperature, Gordon?
We had snow.
Oh,
We were in the upper 30s, but we had just about a quarter of an inch of snow. It's melted off now.
yeah.
Hi, Ron.
Can you see me?
Hey, just see part of you, Della.
Hey guys,
Hi, Vic. Hi, Ron.
Oh, Ron,
hey, how y'all
Hi, Ron.
doing?
we're doing
Okay.
better.
You know, I can only stay with you a few minutes. I got to go to a birthday party dinner. Some outlaws that I don't really know, but I
Uh-oh.
have to go anyway.
Well, drink before you go.
Yeah, a couple of them. And my daughter told me I had to go, so I don't have a choice. You know how it is, right, Vic?
I know that. Yes, sir.
Well, you're all looking good. Howdy, Della.
Mhm.
We can
Is
see
Della
Della
on
this
board?
time.
What?
We can see Della this time.
Yeah, I can see her. Hi, Della.
Hi, guys. Thank you.
So what's going on in Crawford County? Anybody know?
I don't know
Well,
anybody
it's,
who lives in Crawford County.
well, it's been spinning rain all day, and the high is about 43 degrees.
Yeah, well,
And,
is there anybody left in Crawford County, or did they close it down?
well, most of them are deer hunting right now. They've killed some nice bucks.
Well, it used to
But the
have
season-
three days.
Season came in yesterday.
How long is the season now? It used to be 3 days.
Yeah.
It's longer now with the bow and arrow, isn't it?
Oh, well, yeah. And then gun season came in Saturday, and it'll last probably a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
And
when I had the farm down there in Georgia, I used to shoot them out of my sunroom in the blueberries. I didn't even have to go sit in no stupid stand and get cold.
Well, they have a bow season, and then they have a gun season, and then they have a musket season.
Yeah.
So, and you can spend so much money, and you can probably kill 3 or 4 deer. They're thick. Occasionally, I see about 9 in my yard.
Yeah, my wife told me that deer meat was about $80 a pound.
Woo-hoo.
Oh, a lot of
You mean
them.
that's what it cost you to harvest them?
Yeah.
I didn't think people would pay that.
Yeah, well, that's you buy the gun and all the stuff, and then ammunition.
Yeah, that's right. That's probably what it does cost.
Yeah, and that's what she said. It only costs about $80 a pound. Someone said something. Oh, you're getting all that free meat. No, it's not free.
No.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah,
ask Bob.
Bob Gillett, as I'm sure you all know, was a really avid deer hunter of everything, but including deer. And as he began to get elderly, he got a muzzle loader so he could have another deer season. Then his eyesight went downhill, and he had to put a scope on the muzzle loader. And he said it sure hurt his feelings to have to put that. Sure marred the appearance of it, looking like a muzzle loader to put a scope on it. But anything to keep hunting.
Well, he used to be a heck of a squirrel hunter. He used to go over and kill a lot of squirrels.
Oh, he sure did.
Yeah.
Boy, he was intense.
He was.
I was out with him, and I gave up on looking for one squirrel, and he wouldn't give up at all. He was there for half an hour in one tree, and he finally saw it and killed it.
Yeah, you could kill 5, and he usually brought back at least 4 or 5 every time.
Yeah, he did.
You had something you was going to say, Vic?
I want to ask Bob Roberts a question to see if he remembers this story. Bud Brown was a big hunter, right, Bob?
Right.
Yeah, and one time Kenny Luckett, this has been probably 40 years ago, asked Bob if he could kill a deer, he'd like to bring it up to his house because he was having Winfield Denton, Congressman Denton, that's been 40 or 45 years ago, and a lot of politicians were going to be at Kenny Luckett's house. So Bud went hunting and never got a deer, but there was a goat farm, GOAT, a goat farm nearby down in Perry County. And he bought the biggest goat that the guy had from him. And he skinned the goat, took it to Kenny Luckett, said, we got a deer, here he is. So Kenny fed for all these politicians that came in from Evansville and Bloomington and all around, and said, oh, that was great, Bud. Thanks a lot. Now, have you ever heard that story, Bob?
I tell you that is, you're stretching it quite a bit. It's a lot different. That we did go out, and this deer looked just exactly colored of a deer. And so we cut the goat's chin whiskers off, shot it, and put last year's tag on it. And then down in Perry County there, they had a guy, a game warden who was really rough. So we stopped there at the beer joint. That game warden looked up and he saw that last year's tag on, and he came almost to the run. And as closer as he got, the slower he got. And he finally just shook his head and he said, "You guys shouldn't get it. Damn it, you shouldn't have done it." So we put it up on top of the car. We hauled it around and hauled it back in English. And Bridge would get out and he would pose and they'd take pictures of him. We said, "Just a rare antelope here." Somebody said, "Well, that's just a damn goat." And all of a sudden, nobody, that doesn't look like a goat. So we hauled it around for 2 or 3 days and finally just threw it off. But it didn't go to Kenny Luckett. That was edited to the tail.
Oh, that was edited. Okay, I got it.
Oh, that was it. It made it interesting.
You know,
but,
the goats are,
we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun out here.
Yeah,
goats are part of the deer family anyway.
yeah.
Well, guys, I'm gonna have to sign off. How do I do it?
Well, have a big time at that birthday party.
Okay, thanks, guys. I'll see you next month, okay?
Okay,
Okay.
see ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Adios.
Adios.
Don't hop any freight trains.
Della, May, you were going to say something a while ago.
See ya.
Sorry, my hearing is very bad, Bob. I'm not hearing a lot of this, but I'm enjoying it anyhow. And if I started to say something, I don't remember what it was.
Well, I tell you, I've worn hearing aids for 50 years. And I still say, huh, and what, more than I do answer somebody.
You are amazing, Bob. You are an amazing man. I have to say that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll
Now,
tell you, the wheels are slowing down.
One
What?
more Bob Gillen deer hunting story. You remember he and Donna lived in that little house on the road to Marengo, and there were some deer woods across the street from him, and finally he got to the point where bow hunting season came along and he had a crossbow, but his back was sore and he couldn't pull the thing up, so he got a neighbor to load it with one arrow. So he went over there deer hunting with his one arrow, and I hope he used it carefully.
Party 5.
Okay, Gordon, come on.
Vic, did you receive the pictures that I sent you
Yes,
Of
I
the-
did. Thank you very
of
much.
the class of 1952?
I did, Gordon, and I'm shocked that there were 28 of us, class of 52, 8 of us graduated. What happened to the other 20?
I'm not sure, but I tried to contact a couple of them. I did a search on them. I couldn't find them. I'm not sure of my memory of this, but it seems to me that Nelson Paget left probably in our sophomore year and joined the Army. Is that correct?
I think you may be right there. And was Melvin Beasley in that group?
No, I never got to high school at English.
Never got to high school in English. Okay.
We lost a lot of members through high school. Can you believe we lost 20 members from freshmen to seniors? That's a bunch.
Bernice Gillett lives in up New Albany someplace. Bernice Gillett, remember her?
Yes,
Yeah.
a lot of those pictures, I didn't even remember those people, but
Yeah.
my memory's not that great. Some of the girls, as I remember, got married very young and left. I think that happened to Verna. What was her name? Verna somebody.
Marna
married-
Dembo.
She married Vic Cook, I think.
Oh.
I think she got married.
I wonder if we read all the names, if anyone watching this video through the Historical Society might give us some information if they saw the names.
Great idea. Great idea.
Vic, could you read the names of all the students, or do you have the picture?
I don't have the picture with me.
I think it would be interesting to find out how many are still around somewhere.
Well, you could probably beat it around. Your class there should come up with most of the names, shouldn't they?
I'm gonna go get mine.
I was gonna say that I would have been in the class of 53 at English, and it started out with 45 and ended up with 28.
Yeah, that same picture that Gordon has of class of 52, the bottom of that picture is also the class of 53, right, Gordon?
I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and
Um,
Bob Mason's picture is in that group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
maybe I'm repeating myself.
the way I got this picture was to go to classmates.com, and I got the 1949 yearbook.
Oh,
It cost quite a bit of money to get it, but I've been so curious about this that I wanted to find it. So actually, it was the 1949 yearbook with our freshman class picture in it.
My mother told me when we started first grade that all the childhood diseases that went around that year, chickenpox, whooping cough, measles, whatever. So we started out as a much larger class as first graders. And a lot of children couldn't make it to school enough to pass the first grade. Therefore, a lot of the first grade students ended up in the class of 53.
No,
Yeah.
they have a lot of those albums up at the English library. I don't know how far they go back, but we didn't have one when I was in school. They had, I think, 19 and 40 was the last one they had, and then the war came on, and they didn't make any albums between then. Maybe I don't know whether they had one in 46 or not.
I'm looking at your picture, Gordon. I'm trying to figure. I must have questions about some of those people. I know what, is Philip Smith still alive? I remember Philip moved to Paoli. Anybody know?
oh yeah, Philip Smith is definitely still alive.
Yeah.
Philip Smith and Melvin and I had lunch together in English about 3 or 4 years ago, didn't we, Melvin?
Yeah,
I remember the Olmans. I fell in love with Sid Ullman when they moved to town. Remember the Ullman family?
Oh, sure.
And a
Carolyn,
brother.
who did Carolyn marry?
She married a Spears, didn't she?
I thought it was Merle Roll.
You thought what?
Merle Roll. Everybody remember that? Carolyn Ullman married Merle Roll, I
No,
believe.
no, that's not right.
All right.
Merle's wife was, I should remember it.
Oh,
Come
I
on,
know.
John.
Wasn't the name you
Okay.
mentioned?
He married there were 2 or 3 sisters that moved in. Gene Cunningham married one of them. Who did Gene Cunningham marry?
Eastridge, I think.
I think I remember Clifford Wilson somehow. I don't know how, but I remember him. Remember Clifford Wilson in our freshman class?
Wasn't he one that died before he
Clifford,
graduated? You said Cedric Wilson,
Clifford Wilson.
Clifford Wilson? Oh, I don't know about Clifford.
Well, I don't remember Helen Roll at all. Or Helen. Where's it?
Merle's wife's first name began with an A, something like Allison or. I think if I let it percolate longer, it will come to me.
She was hooked in with the Howard Eastridge family out at Tazewell, not the Howard Eastridge in English. I think Howard Eastridge married into that family, and they moved up and lived with Howard Eastridge out at Tazewell, I believe.
Well, I want to tell you, my daughter from Michigan was here last weekend, and I said I would like to go back to English, maybe my last trip. So we drove to English, and we went from there to Eckerty and ate at that Swartz family
Yeah.
Amish restaurant. I'll tell you, don't go there.
Oh, don't go there?
Don't go there. Unless you're more interested in quantity than you were in quality. I couldn't chew my roast beef. And it was huge. There must have been 100 people in that restaurant. But I thought the food was very poor.
Okay.
And from there we went. She said she'd never been in the West Main Springs Hotel since it was redone. So we went there, drove there, but we couldn't go in because now you can only go in the hotel if you are an overnight guest.
Oh.
I went there a few years ago and took a tour of the grounds. And it was very interesting. And if you remember, the hotel was built for the Pluto waters. The Pluto waters were supposedly a healing power, but they were actually almost, get rid of it. So anyway, on this tour, they told us that the outhouses were across the creek in a bridge from the hotel. So as the guests went to the outhouses across this bridge, there were canes hanging, and they picked up a cane. And as they went to the outhouse to show there was someone in there, they hung the cane on the outside. And the tour guide said one day the help got angry for some reason. And so they took all the canes and they hung them on all the outhouses as if they were all occupied and no one could get in.
Oh. Now, a couple of friends and I last weekend drove to Montgomery, Indiana. You know where Montgomery, Indiana is?
I do. I've been there to that Black Buggy restaurant.
Yeah, it's called the Guest House. It's a big Amish restaurant. Now that is very good, Della.
Okay, well, don't compare it to Swartz.
Swartz, okay, all right. Did we lose Bob Roberts?
Oh, he's here.
Oh, you're still there, Bob?
What's that?
There
Oh,
he
you're
is.
still there. Okay. I want to show everybody this picture. Can you see this picture?
Yeah, I can see it.
Haley, what?
Is it, Vic?
It's the front cover of the Crawford County. It's the Crawford County Historical Society's little bulletin they put out every couple months. And that's an old church, Dillman Church near Kirby, Indiana. It's all boarded up now. You can see it.
Yeah.
So where'd you get that?
Crawford County, and the Floyd County Historical Society is a member of the Crawford County Historical Society, and I think we change materials back and forth. Now, if you open up page number 2, Bob Roberts, let's see what it is here.
Eileen Treadway. It finally came to my mind.
That's it, Eileen Treadway. Exactly. Gene
There you go,
Cunningham
John.
he married one of the sisters. Eileen married who?
Earl Rowe.
Merle Rowe. Merle Rowe, that's right. Now, Bob, you're not going to be able to see this very well, but that's the English high school.
Sixth and seventh grade.
Yeah. Did you show that picture before?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's Gordon Backus is the teacher, and you're in here. You're one of these yahoos
Yeah.
in here,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of
You got your finger right on my face.
right on.
Gordon
Okay,
Backus was
right over
Gordon
here.
Backus was our teacher. But
Yeah. Bill Gilland is one of them, and there's a lot of people that I knew in there.
yeah, most of those boys were in World War II.
That's right.
And I think Elmo Gillen was in there.
Yes, he
He-
was. Yeah.
He got killed
Yeah.
in a Jeep accident that Les Hoover, you remember Les Hoover? He had to identify, it was one of the islands over there, and Les had to identify him. And then his brother Ralph was also killed, and they came back, and we had a double military funeral with them. And Mary opened the caskets. They wouldn't even let her, and she said she wanted to, and she opened both caskets, and she said those were her boys
Yeah.
and stuff.
Well, I went to that funeral also, and the soldiers fired just I don't know how many shots, 21 shots maybe.
Yeah, they usually have a firing squad of 7, and they fire 3 rounds, and that's like a 21 gun salute.
Yeah.
We still do it.
I picked up some of the cartridges, the empty cartridges, and my dad asked me later, said, "Did you pick up some of those cartridges?" I said, "Yeah, I got 4 or 5 of them." Well, Mary Gillen wanted those cartridges, so I gave them to my dad, and she gave them to Miss Gillen. She wanted to keep them for keepsakes.
Well, we gather up 21 shells on our firing squads and put them in a little bag and give them to a member of the family.
Yeah.
And sometimes in that high grass, you can't find any. So
Right.
the commander always has about 10 or 12 empty shells that we put in that bag to make it up to 21,
Yeah.
and we give to the family.
That's good. Now, do I remember right, or did you play taps, Bob?
Yeah. Well, I used to play an echo. We had Mr. Young. He was a sergeant in the Army band, and he played at the graveside, and I played an echo for him.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I remembered that right.
Now,
I went to that
I'm a
funeral also,
chaplain there, and I also present the flag to the member family, and And also, if it's not folded, it help fold it. In fact, on the last holiday and everything, we went down to Patoka School and we fold a flag, and the commander gives a little citation for each fold. And then I present it to the principal of the school, and the kids, a couple of honor students, take it out and hang it.
Yeah.
And they usually have a little donut and coffee for us after it's over with.
Yeah.
I had
Well,
a brother. I had a brother killed in the Second World War. Brother Ralph Starr.
Yeah.
Yep.
You remember him?
Oh, I remember well.
He was killed in Italy. He was in the Air Force, and it was back before the days of all the modern technology. And he had gone out in the morning on a bombing mission, and it was cloudy, and they couldn't drop the bombs. So they were on their way back to base, and they ran into another airplane, and the bombs exploded, and my brother Ralph was killed. And they buried him in Italy for a while. And then I remember my parents getting notice that his body was being exhumed and brought back to English. And it was just before Christmas. I remember we had the Christmas tree up, so we took all that down. And his body and an accompaniment, somebody came with his body and stayed through the entire thing until he was entered. And I was quite a little bit younger. I don't remember a whole lot about it, but I do remember that portion. Okay.
Is he in the English cemetery, Della?
I'm sorry.
Is he in the English cemetery?
Yes, his buried.
Okay.
His body is in. And last weekend on my daughter's tour, we went through the English cemetery, and I reminisced a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I saw Bud Marilyn and Bunk and Monroe Riddle, and both my grandparents, the Stars and the Lytles, are buried there. And I remember my mother, when my dad bought the cemetery lot, she said, "I'm going to spend eternity standing on my head," because of the lay of the land.
I put, I think 97 flags on the soldier's grave every year. That occasionally one shows up that I didn't know, but they come back maybe to English to be buried. I ran across one of them. I don't know where you remember Roscoe Spears or not.
Oh, sure. I remember Roscoe.
Well, Roscoe, I passed by there a couple of years ago, and he had died, and they had brought his body back, and I really didn't know it or anything. So I put a flag on it, and some of them.
Good.
Harold Cummins was another one. He brought his body back. And occasionally they had one that I think altogether the VFW put out around 2,500 flags to the different cemeteries around close. That's something that we do every year.
That's wonderful. For some reason, Roscoe was a friend of the families, and he was in the Seabees, I believe, and he would write letters back to my mother and dad, and I'd read them as a little kid, and a lot of the information had been redacted. They'd block it out because, you know, you're not supposed to give too much information in those letters during the war.
You just cut it out?
I think it was, I don't remember, but there'd be a whole line that would be blocked out.
Yeah.
I don't remember whether it was cut out or not.
Well, let's tell a story on my dad had they put a family name on every, major island in the Pacific Ocean. And when Dad would be near one of those islands, he would ask, how Maxine was, or
Oh, shoot.
so we'd know where he
Really?
was at. But they wouldn't
Well, I
block
think-
that out.
Bob, that's,
Wasn't Everett Mason your uncle?
Yeah, he's my uncle.
Yeah, that our VFW is named after him,
Yeah,
Everett
right.
Mason Post.
I'm not sure which way the Everett is supposed to be spelled anymore. But anyway, yeah, he was lost at sea right at the beginning of the war.
Yeah, I think he was maybe the first person killed from.
Crawford County, right. He
Yeah.
was in the Navy. I guess he graduated from Leavenworth High School in 38. So I guess he went into the Navy right after graduating from high school.
And we had another boy that the name of Bob Duggins, that he and Gerald Spears went to enlist in the Navy. And Bob was underweight. He couldn't get in. So he enlisted in the Army.
Yeah.
And he put, I don't know, maybe 4 years in the Army. And then he enlisted in the Navy and stuff. And he was killed right, I think, about the first few months of it and everything.
Hmm.
He had a brother, Max, and I run around when he was the same age that I was and stuff. But there was about anything. And Gerald Spears went, and he got to be an officer. And then he came back and lived in English until he died and stuff. That
We have 5 grandsons. 3 of them did a tour in the Navy.
Bob, your story about the code for the letters reminded me that one time my brother Don sent a letter home, and he and my dad had worked out a code. And if the letter started with the letter I, that meant an island. So Dad was reading this letter to us, and it had 6 paragraphs in it, and it was the I for them island, and it was Leyte. So he knew where he was.
Yeah. Well, they used a lot of different deals to let the people know back home where they were. They were rather devious and everything. In Crawford County boys were hard to beat.
Did they ever find brushy sturgeon, Bob?
Find who?
Brushy sturgeon when he
Oh,
had
yeah,
left
they
our-
found him. They found him. I think he had to do a little tour in prison. He came back and was loafing around English. And you remember the old honky tonk, the upstairs there
Yep.
was all vacant. And he was up there in his winter time and he'd start a little fire.
Oh, shoot.
So we went up there and I think one of the Gillen boys or Lone boys, Don was on the fire hose, just a booster hose, but every time that Brushy started to get up, he just hosed him down. So we had him good and wet when they took him to jail.
Bob, how many years have you been affiliated with the fire department?
Since 1950.
50.
Yeah, I think it's
1950.
about 71 years.
Yeah, that'd be about right.
Yeah, he's still on there.
Well, you're through the probationary period now, anyway.
Yeah, they might let me have the hose anytime we go out or something. And I happen to be on the hose. Somebody comes up, let me have that. So I don't get to do anything very long, but probably I can't do anything very long either. So it doesn't make much difference. Oh, I had a deal, they was talking about English and the mill. I have a picture of the mill that you can see that big pipe going up. Can you see that? All right.
No,
Oh,
this blank.
bring it up higher.
Yeah,
Higher and farther. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Now we're coming, a little high, right there.
Okay, see that big pipe going up?
Yes, sir.
That come from, they had a generator in there, and that's how English got its electricity. And at night, they would cut it off at 11 o'clock. That was their
Behind
power.
the
That's-
grain mill, right?
Pardon?
It was back
What
behind the
year was
mill,
Yeah, back behind, that was attached to the mill.
right?
What
And
year was
The
that?
old mill's still standing.
Yeah, I saw that.
old
Nothing's in it, nothing's in it.
How old is that mill? How old is that mill?
My gosh, I don't know. It was there when I was a kid and been there a long time. That Guy Longus and his father run the mill. And I guess his uncle Oscar Longus worked there. And they had scales in between the two buildings. And they made flour and cornmeal. And they had another bill was about 4 feet high. The building was attached onto it. And they had a 2-wheel cart on there loaded with fire hose. It didn't have anything that they'd have to go over and get that cart. It had wheels on like wagon wheels and push it to wherever the fire was in town and hook up. They had fire hydrants and had, pressure. It didn't have any, it just gravity fed. But I know John had some pictures there that I think when they finally see part of the monument shop and those pressure was pretty doggone good on it. You could see the streams of water.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably the oldest building left in English. Is that mill? Is that right?
It's about the only building, but it would be the oldest.
Oh, yeah. Well, the house I live in was built in the 1890s.
Whoa, really?
Yes. So, but
It
I
still
imagine
looks good. It still looks good. The buildings.
Oh, yeah.
Last
Oh, yeah.
Sunday looked good.
It's been overhauled a few times.
Hey, John, where's Mike? How's he doing?
Well, I just talked to him on the Zoom just an hour before this, and he was there, but I guess he didn't want to join us here, or maybe he forgot about it. But he's always lying in his leisure chair with his blanket over him and being quiet, and he responds when somebody yells at him.
Yeah.
Keeps pretending like he doesn't have any memory, but when I ask him questions, why he quite often comes up with an answer. Last time, here's an example, which I think is a pretty good one. A very trivial thing. When we were little kids, there were some cute little candy wrapped gifts that were sold at a little store that was right next to the creek. And I was trying to remember what the name of that was. I couldn't think.
Zine Hicks, and they were called
Zine
guess
Hicks.
what's. They
Guess
were
what?
called
Yeah.
guess what's.
I couldn't remember that, but Mike came right up with it.
Oh,
Guess what?
yeah.
There was
Yeah,
two
they had
sizes.
penny guess what's and nickel guess what's.
There was the nickel sign and the penny side, right?
Yeah, I
And the
remember
thing that
those.
made me think about it was, for some reason, I was remembering that one kind of little trick that would come, a piece of paper, and you'd touch a cigarette to it, and then it would burn a path through the paper and finally end up someplace. Don't remember that, Bob?
Oh, I think part of it
Oh, yeah.
that I know.
They
I
always
remember
had a-
Zine real well. She sold hamburgers and hot dogs and usually had a big old cat laying around.
Yeah,
That
Jimmy Hicks, that's right.
Bob, do you remember when the coal truck lost its brakes coming down Needmore Hill and crashed into McMail Grocery?
Really?
who was that?
A coal truck lost its brakes coming down Needmore Hill and couldn't stop, lost control, and jumped the railroad tracks right into the McMail Grocery
Join the
store.
meeting.
Yeah. Well, that's
Remember that,
the
Bob?
one. Yeah, I remember that.
I think somebody got killed in that, I think.
Well, I would think, yeah.
There was used to be quite a few wrecks, and the train would hit somebody too.
Yeah.
Things.
Way back, it was Buggy Lone's wife, wasn't it?
She was killed in a car accident. That train hit them. They'd been to see a movie, and I think Bill Ferguson was in that.
Yeah, I think so.
If I remember right. They had been to see a movie. I don't know what was the name of that Iron
Supposedly,
Horse
Buggy
or
said,
something.
Buggy said they went to see the Iron Horse, and they sure did. Now, he
Yeah.
kind of made a joke out of it, from what I've heard stories.
Yeah, well, Buggy had a couple of boys to raise,
Yes, he did.
Jack and Ted.
Jack and Ted. Jack was a
Our
teacher.
host. We haven't seen our host. Our host. Where is our host?
Yeah, where's Jerry?
Jeremy. Is Jeremy. I haven't seen him. You know, he gave me a fountain pen that was made out of wood that was taken out of the Flanigan house.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, when we took
That's really,
that
that's
down,
an excellent piece of work.
yeah, my brother, our youngest of the family, Mark, he kept a lot of the wood, a lot of the good pieces of wood, and took them back up to Bloomington with him. And now he's doing that stuff with them. That's one of the things, wine bottle stopper. It's
He
very
does
nice.
excellent work. I mean, it's really a thing of beauty.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. And that's out of the Flanigan house.
Yeah.
I understand your feelings, Steve. It sounds to me like they are receiving an encrypted message of some kind. And I don't know why that would be. It opened for me just fine.
That was hard to hear, Gordon.
How is Hawaii? Let us drool.
We got Tim's on here now. Timothy Eade.
Tim's name's been up there for a while, but I haven't seen him.
Steve,
Yeah, well,
Steve, could I give you a call back in about 20 minutes? I'm on a Zoom call with my high school friends, and we have about 14 minutes left on the call. I'll give you a call back.
I'd like to ask you guys something. Was there much of an effect of the COVID-19 pandemic in Crawford County or in English or anything? Or I can remember when I was in grade school, New Albany had they had a polio epidemic, and they shut down the parks, the swimming pools, and all the movies. And there was no TV then, so people really went to movies. And meanwhile, English, I don't think ever had a single case of polio, and everything stayed wide open. So what was the experience there in the COVID-19 epidemic?
I think in the county, I believe there's 29 that's deaths.
Really? Okay. That's quite
I
a few.
think maybe a little over 1,000 cases, but there was 29 deaths.
Wow. Okay.
I was looking at a map of the United States partitioned by counties, and you can click on one of the counties and it shows how many deaths have been counted and how many deaths per 100,000 population and that kind of thing. And I noticed that Crawford County and all the counties around it all had almost exactly the same ratio. There were no hot spots, no cold spots, just all about the same. I don't remember what it was, but I remember it was kind of modest.
But are the numbers relatively high or relatively low, John, compared to other?
Based on the rest of the country, they were relatively low.
Okay.
Indiana overall is relatively high.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, how is COVID in Hawaii? Is it as bad as the States?
No, we're about the best of the states. We have a very low, like right now we're getting maybe fewer than 100 new cases a day. And it's we just opened up, and
Are
Ann
you
and
vac-
I went Ann and
are
I
you-
went to a
Are you
volleyball
vac-
game.
Are you vaccinated?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah, I got my third shot the other day.
I've had my third one for, well, I got it the day after it was legal to do it.
So are most people in Hawaii vaccinated?
Most people are, some for reasons that are incomprehensible to me are not. But I think we're over 70% vaccinated.
I wondered a bit about, because of their background, history, whatever, if they were open to this.
I'm
Vaccinate.
sorry.
Well, I know, when polio came down, I believe that thing probably was a must. That you get the stuff sprayed up your nose, but it was 100%. And they knocked polio out completely almost. But
Well,
it
that's
shows
what-
pictures.
Because people were
as
willing
they
to get
find out that
vaccinated.
Today people, they don't want to get it and stuff.
One
I
of the
know it
local
talks a lot
doctors
of
is
people
talking
that
about
say
it.
they're not going to get it.
Why do you think it's optional? It never has been optional before. Measles, when the kids go to school, they have to have a measles shot or they can't go in school. And why has he not seen a case of smallpox or polio recently? And the answer is vaccination. So anybody who's against vaccinating is just somebody that I cannot understand. Something's going on in their head that is beyond my understanding.
I can't either. I know there's one person, he worked over around the school, and he wasn't going to get it, and he got it. And when he was headed for the hospital, he had about a 19-year-old boy, and he says, "You get that shot." And about 2 weeks later, he was dead.
Oh,
That's
But
a
I
hard
think
way
a
to
lot
learn
of
a
people
lesson.
started getting it then.
You see, my beard is going to grow longer because the lady that generally cuts my beard has not been vaccinated. And I wouldn't go back to her until she got vaccinated. So I may end up with a nice long beard.
Good. But you see people at the hospital, nurses and things like that are refusing to get the shots. And I really
That's
can't
hard to
understand. It's a shame.
people work in nursing homes, a lot of them, a big percentage of them have never gotten a shot. And nursing homes are prime locations for people to catch it.
I think that's where our biggest percentage of deaths happen.
So,
I would guess.
The one at Leavenworth.
yeah.
But,
Well, who would have ever thought this would have been so politicized as it is now? It's unbelievable.
It is.
It really is.
people think it's somebody forcing them to do that. And
Well,
it's
same
for their
people
own
who are
good.
forcing
Why
them
they
to
can't
drive on the
understand.
right side of the road. Same people who are forcing them to wear seatbelts. Yeah, they're being forced to do that.
Yeah.
And it's logical that they should be. I don't know. I'm just completely.
I think if they don't get vaccinated, they should have to pay a higher price for insurance, health insurance.
Well, I think they ought to have to
Yeah,
show.
makes
they ought to
sense.
have to show proof of vaccination before they can go to the hospital.
I had to show my proof of vaccination before I could go to the dinner party last night.
Okay.
Well, did you have a good party?
We had good food. I live in a condo with 135 apartments, so there's about 175 people live here. They had we don't have any food normally, or no kitchen or anything, but they had Thanksgiving party last night. About 50 people ate. But
Ann and I are going to a volleyball game face to face where we sit in the stands and watch the girls play. They limit the number of people in. There'll only be about 1,000 people there. They often fill that place up, 10,000 people, but they're limiting it, and there's no food, no place for you to buy beer, no place for you to buy food, because they don't want people stacking in close to each other.
How's your mountain coming over there that
It's
they
still
climb
smoking.
up the things?
It's still smoking. It's still
It is.
drawing. It's still drawing.
Oh, I was talking about the deal where they put the radar up on the deal that the people wanted to go up there.
About the walkway.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a telescope. Yeah, that's a big bone of contention. A bunch of Hawaiians have figured out they can get famous by complaining about it and get on television. That's not a very kind thing for me to say. Some people claim they have a legitimate reason for doing that, but.
So John, have you been back to Indiana? How long's it been?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that, Della.
How long since you've been back to Indiana?
Oh. Well, the last time we were back was the year before COVID.
Oh,
It'd be 2019.
We used to come back every year to see people, but we haven't been back since. And we're hoping maybe next year, who knows how things will go. I'm kind of afraid to get on an airplane.
Yeah.
I miss, our crowd getting together.
Yeah.
So if you come back, Vic, Gordon, can we all arrange, Bob, all of us arrange to see each other?
Hope so.
Well, we can try.
if you come back, we could have a Zoom party.
Yeah.
Or Zoom alumni.
There'd probably be a lot of people maybe like to be invited in it, that we don't have the alumni banquet anymore. We haven't had since the virus came along. So I don't know whether they'll start another one or not. But,
Would that be held in the community building up in New English, Bob?
pardon?
Would an alumni banquet be held beyond the State Bank in English? Isn't that a community building down there on the right?
You mean uptown?
Yeah, up in the new
Yeah,
town.
it could be help measure. We've had a couple, 2 or 3 meetings in there and stuff. And I'm sure the town would go along with it, but the school is still there, but they say that it's a lot of stuff in there that wouldn't be good for your health
Yeah.
and stuff.
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I was really disappointed when the English elementary school was done away with. It really, really was not a good thing, in my opinion.
Yep.
Well, I fought and everything else to get the middle school moved to English.
Yeah.
They put it to Marengo, and they didn't have any parking place, so there were no playgrounds, nothing. English setting up there that they had a track, a baseball diamond,
Yeah.
and everything, and place park and everything else. And I fought and battled and wrote letters to the superintendent over Crawford County School, and I couldn't do a bit of good with it. And then they moved to school. They said we didn't have enough room up there, and I checked on it. And when the last time they graduated, Della, I think it was 575 students in the whole school, and I think there may be 400 and something down at Patoka and stuff. And we had, or at Marengo, and we had plenty of deal to take care of all of it, but they wouldn't listen. And then they moved the middle school. They built another one over to where the high school is, and it's over there now. So
Guys, it's,
I've tried, but
I'm gonna be the first to drop out here. I gotta go eat lunch so I can get ready to go to the volleyball game.
All right.
Then,
Okay.
talking to you guys. See you next month.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good seeing you.
we're about to run out of time anyway, John.
I think
Bye-bye,
so. I
everybody.
think we're about done
See you,
here.
John.
Yeah.
I think I'll be on my way too. Nice seeing you guys. Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you. Take care.
You take care of yourself, Della Mae.
I'll
Bye-bye.
try.
Okay.
I'll try.
Yeah, I saw where you and Gordon were running around and came down to visit down to the firehouse at Jeffersonville. That was a
Yeah,
pretty good
that
trip, wasn't it?
That
was
was a
nice.
tremendous thing. We enjoyed it tremendously. Thanks, Vic.
Oh,
See
yeah,
ya.
you had a good man to lead you through there. Vic knew all about it.
Later.
Night.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Okay. I'll see you boys later. Bye-bye.